we've been doing dividing decimals. The difference now is we're going to have a decimal divided by a decimal. So there's going to be two numbers that are decimals in here. So here's the steps here. And I'm not sure I like the way I laid it out, but it's the way it is. So bear with me through the steps. And then at the bottom, letter E, we'll have like the final problem ready to go. So you can just kind of copy what I'm doing here, and hopefully it'll be something you can look back at. But first, set up the problem like a long division problem. So you're going to have your 3.6 and your 1.2. You're going to set it up like normal. Okay. Second step, you're going to take what you have, and it says move the decimal in the divisor all the way to the right and count how many place values you moved. So my divisor's a number on the outside, and how many place values is it? How many steps? How many jumps did I make? One jump. So this is like one jump. I did one jump there. Okay? Then it says move the decimal in the dividend, which is the number underneath, the same number of jumps. Okay, so if you move the outside one 1, you're going to move the one underneath 1. So we have 12 here, and I moved it one jump, so 3.6 becomes one jump here. Does that part make sense? So I moved one jump here, so I have to move one jump and the other number. Okay? And then it says place the decimal point in the quotient, which is our answer, directly above the decimal point in the dividend. So we have 12 and 36 underneath, and the decimal point's right here. So it's going to go directly above there. Okay. So what I did is I took the steps you're going to do, and I like stretched them out. So we'll do them all together in one step here of level E, or letter E. So you had 1.2 and 3.6. So personally, this is how I would do it. I would take this and I would move it one spot, and I would move it one spot, and I'd go straight up with it right here. I just do that all in one.
You're going too fast, huh? Oh my.
Okay. So I started with 1.2. My decimal point right here. If I can make it draw. My decimal point's right there. I moved it one spot. And I started with 3.6. And I moved it one spot. So both one spot, and your decimal goes up here in your answer.
Yes.
Okay. So that's when you have two decimals. Okay? If you just have one decimal like we did before, you just go straight up with it. Okay? But we can't have a decimal number out here. That doesn't really work for us. Okay? So let's do an actual example now of 42.3 divided by 0.12. Or yes, 42.3 divided by 0.12. And you can decide to write the 0 in front or not write the 0 in front. How many jumps do I need to go? 2, right? I mean, one jump, 2 jumps. So this one, I'm going to go 1 jump, 2 jumps. What do I do with that empty space? Put a 0 there. So if you rewrite the problem like I did here on the right, then I would solve here, because then you don't have your jumps in your problem. Okay? So because when I went this jump here and I went to another one, I had to add a 0 here because there's like a nothing there. Okay, so you got to add that 0 in there. So then it's just like dividing like we've been doing. Does 12 fit into 4? No. Some of you like to put a 0 there, some of you don't. I tend to because it keeps my numbers lined up. Does 12 fit into 42? Yes, it fits in there 3 times. That'll be a 36. 42 minus 36 is 6.
Are they all going to be homework?
Bring down the 3. Does 12 fit into 63?
Yes.
Yes, how many times?
5.
5 times. What's 5 times 12?
60.
60. Bring down my 0. Does 12 fit into 30?
Yes.
Yes. How many times?
2.
2 times. So it's 24. Here's where we've got to remember what to do. I have 6 left over. We are now in 6th grade, and we don't use remainders anymore. We turn things into either fractions or decimals. And since we're working with decimals, what do I need to do to keep dividing? I need to add a 0. Do all of you agree that if I add a 0 right here, it does not change the value of that number?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're adding it after the decimal. Okay? So I bring this down, and now I've got 60. Does 12 fit into 60?
Yes.
Yes. How many times?
5.
5 times. And it's exactly even 60. So I have 0 left over now.
So they're all gonna be whole numbers?
So this is not a whole number.
Not a whole number.
Decimal.
This doesn't have any remainder left, right?
Oh, decimal.
So your final answer is 352.5. Okay? So, dividing with 2 decimals. The first step is to move the decimals over, so now you only have 1 decimal number. So let's look at a story problem.
Oh.
After driving 368.5 miles, Julie and her family refilled the tank of their car with 13.4 gallons of gasoline. On average, how many miles do they drive per gallon of gas? So we got to do a division problem.
You don't like this
368.5 divided by 13.4.
Don't you have to do a comma because it's more than 1?
You don't have to. You can't. I mean, it's good to do that in your answer. Okay. So what am I actually going to divide after moving my decimals?
134 divided by 2,000.
3,685 divided by 134. Does anyone have a question on how I got from here to here? From the left one to the right one? Does anyone have a question on that? Okay. That's the new piece today. The rest is just what we've been doing with division. So then it's just dividing. It doesn't fit into 3, it doesn't fit into 36. It fits in here 2 times. So 268.
Yeah.
So 1,005. This is where some people have asked me, can I use a calculator? I'm totally fine with trying to take 1,005 and 134 and doing the multiplication on a calculator. What I want to see still is your work here. Okay, I want to see you writing out the long division problem. So I don't expect you to know how many times 134 fits into 1,005. Okay, I don't expect you to take the extra time to do the multiplication. So feel free to grab a calculator and I don't know how many times you think it might fit in there.
My guess is 7.
7. Let's try 7 times 134. So somebody grab a calculator and try that.
I tried number 5.
You did 5 and it was too
5,
small.
and
Okay.
It's
It's like 400 small.
7 was too small. Do we try 8?
I'm trying that right now.
Okay. So I'm totally fine if you want to write out the multiplication, but if you want to use a calculator to do that multiplication to try it.
8 is too big, so it has to be
8's too big, so 7. So what was 7 times 134? It's got to be 800, no, 900 and... Is that right?
938.
938. So we subtract. We do lots of borrowing here. This becomes a 0. That's going to be a 9, and that's going to be a 10. Nope, that's going to be a 9. That's going to be 15. So 7, 6. And if you have a remainder, you've got to put a decimal here. Put a 0.
That's 5 times.
5 times, says Mason. And what was it?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have 27.5.
Oh man, there's
Okay?